Welcome back. This is Her Digital Empire. My name is Erika Belvin, and I also have my co-host with me, Jesse Belvin.
What's going on? Coronavirus edition.
Awesome. So, really quickly before we get into it, I just want to remind you to subscribe to our podcast. You can subscribe on Apple and iTunes, and if you loved it, please give us a 5-star review, please. It really means a lot to our business and our podcast if you do that, and share with your friends. If you have other designer friends or people who are on Etsy, it would be great to share because we do genuinely try and give as many tips and tricks as we can, right?
Definitely.
And just our own experience. So again, if this is your first time listening, my name is Erika Belvin. I am a graphic designer. I'm not like one of those 12-year-old like graphic designer people who are like, oh my gosh, I have so much experience. I actually really fell into this a couple of years back, like 3 years back, and I just kind of fell into it. I stumbled into it, and I learned as I took on clients and developed a successful business. And now we have a nice 6-figure business based out of basically our home.
Multiple 6.
Stop.
You seriously stop.
But yeah, so we do well, yes. And we have Etsy to thank for that, I think.
Oh yeah.
And a big part of that is Etsy. But not just Etsy, because I know a lot of people, don't do well on Etsy. They're like, what? How the heck did you gain traction and stuff? And I think there's a lot of things that go into it. I think a lot of it's passion. I think a lot of it is, consistency.
Sure.
And even when it comes to consistency, that's not always the winning thing, because we've had stores that we were consistent with that were not successful.
That we are consistently awful with.
Right.
Right.
So, it just really depends. You have to have a client base, and that client base has to love you, right? You can't just come in and take over and think that you're just going to bring on the same client base that a successful store has. You also have to know what that successful store, that you have to know what your clients want.
Sure.
So, but we'll get into that. We have more important things to talk about, which right now, the biggest thing going on is
that corona thing, right? Like that thing?
Yes, the coronavirus. So everybody is stuck at home right now. The people I feel for the most are bartenders and servers, because I was one. And sorry about that. That's my puppy. Because I was one, and if I was still one right now, we would be
in big trouble.
We would be struggling hardcore, and so I really feel for them. Jesse and I have been eating out like every day to support
the to-go businesses.
Yes, the to-go businesses, small business, big business, it doesn't matter, because we know that it's just important right now, and I just really feel for those servers and those bartenders. So but the biggest thing with coronavirus is and it's state by state, right? Cases state by state, but for the most part, everybody is stuck at home. So, I know in California here, if you need to go to the grocery store, if you want to go into a restaurant to pick up your to-go food, you have to be wearing a mask now. I know that you have to wait in line. That's kind of new for me. I'm not really big into waiting in line for anything, but it's for safety. They don't want a certain amount of people in there at once, so they wait. So it ends up growing a big line. Like our Target has a huge line right now. I saw a line at Home Depot down the road. It's crazy. And then my biggest underlying issue is there are people who are getting sick and are dying, which is very interesting, because in January I actually got really, 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 really sick. And I had the same symptoms.
You were still working.
And I was still working my business. I was doing the bare minimum. I wasn't going the extra mile. And, getting listings out and, all the extra stuff I do, like this podcast and stuff. I was too sick. And I really believe I had coronavirus. Now, nobody was talking about it back then, but I guess they found that it was...
Yeah, the first cases were like last year,
yeah,
or late last year.
So yeah. I may have had it, and I caught it from my daughter, and my daughter would have caught it from somebody at her school, which is really crazy. But why I'm mentioning this is because the biggest thing that people talk about or don't talk about is, how many people are sick and how it's affecting their lives, and even like the deaths. And yes, a lot of us are young and it's not going to affect us as bad. We're going to get very sick like I did and we're not going to die. But then there's the people who do have underlying issues who this is very serious for. And, this is a very serious thing. This is a pandemic, So the good news is that I think that America's getting a hold of it, right? Because we're starting to reopen.
Yeah, California sounds like it's coming.
Yeah, but I wanted to really talk about it because it really crazily affected our business.
Not in the way we thought, though.
Not in the way we thought. I mean, the first couple of days, which is crazy, we were dead, right? We were freaking out for 3 days or something.
Yeah, there was a 3-day span where it was do we need to rethink things? What's happening? Because you don't plan for a pandemic.
No, nobody did. I mean, think about all these companies that now are getting loans and stuff that they had no money in the bank. And, not that we didn't have any money in the bank, but I'm just one of those people who's extra secure. And I was freaking the heck out. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? People are worried about buying toilet paper right now. They're not worried about buying, stuff for their business on Etsy because their business can't even run right now. And I was like, this is going to cripple the beauty industry. We're not going to make it. Beauty is going to shut down, and I am going to shut down with it.
And right around the same time, I mean, for those of you that are on Etsy, it looked like that Etsy had switched their ad policy back to...
They did. So a lot of people... So in all the groups that I'm in, a lot of people were complaining that they were just dead from it. And then there was the opposite. There was people who were saying they were just flourishing from it.
Right.
There were people who were trying to gain money off of it and making tons of masks and stuff. And Etsy was quick to shut them down. And then, randomly, the CEO sent out an email that said, we need masks. We need you guys to make masks. And then, I don't know if he just reinstated those accounts or whatever, but everybody started making masks and making a ton of money off the masks.
Yeah.
Now
we decided not to. We thought the optics were a little weird.
Yeah, we did have some dropshipping companies that we work with that offered it, but we didn't do it because it just seemed a little not stable for me. I'm a very safe person when it comes to I don't like to take a lot of risks in business, and that to me seemed a little bit like a risk. For somebody who, a woman who, has nothing else going on, maybe she's a teacher or something and she needs a side hustle, absolutely, that would fit perfectly for somebody like her because she doesn't have a lot to lose. For me, I have too much to lose, so I didn't feel like I wanted to take that kind of a risk. So I actually held off from selling my own, designed masks. Not that it's a bad thing if you are. I think it's a good thing if you're getting masks out to the public, right? But I just didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's like if you're somebody that, I don't know, sells jewelry or something, and then all of a sudden you're profiting crazy on masks. It's just weird. So it's for you being a digital designer,
right? And then the craziest thing, even a couple of days ago, is Etsy is shutting or they're shadow banning certain stores that are growing too fast with the masks. So if they all of a sudden have 200 orders come in a day when they were only getting 50 orders a day, they are shadow banning them and not allowing them to be seen because they think that they can't handle it. So that's kind of been something that I'm I don't want to have anything to do with that. I just want to stay away from it. There's a lot of politicking that goes on with Etsy that you kind of have to learn how to be kind of in the middle of it. You don't want to be in the forefront and just out in the open. You kind of want to just comply with what they're saying and they're doing. You want to be on the Etsy team versus always fighting, always complaining on groups, always, fighting against what they're saying and what the CEO is saying. Like, it's kind of like, I really learned how to be pro corporate when I worked at Starbucks. Mm-hmm. You just, when the corporation, I worked in Starbucks through the recession, the last mm-hmm. recession.
Yeah.
They took away our 401k. They took away our stock options. They took away all this stuff. And as a supervisor, I had to be gun-ho about it and explain it to my angry baristas and stuff. And, and it was explained to me by my managers. And, that's something that, in a way, if you want to win, you gotta kind of like feed into the bullshit. You gotta just say, I accept the bullshit. I'm just gonna run with it.
But you subtweet them, right? You angry tweet them on the side.
Yeah. Well, okay. Like there's been certain things like the ads.
Yeah.
Right. The ads, like that's just like.
I've had to hit them with a 1-2.
I'm sorry, but if you're gonna cost your people money with and it's not just a couple people who are trying to sell masks. This is an entire company that you're now messing with because you're messing with the ads. But anyway, they're through that. We are like past the ad situation. We're really happy with the way that the ads are going with Etsy. I feel like they're finally starting to listen to people. The ODR has been hidden right now and is not really, which is so important because with reviews and stuff, my business, my Etsy business is actually, we do not get a lot of bad reviews. We do pretty well with that. But lately, they have been more than usual. And I believe it's because people are at home more. Mm-hmm. So it's just like more thinking. When you're on the go, when you have your kids' school, you have your job, you have to go get the car cleaned, you have to take the dog to PetSmart to get groomed. And then you got to deal with the Etsy girl who you weren't happy with whatever. It's kind of an afterthought. But when you're at home, because you work from home, because you were sent home because of the pandemic, and you're low on your last roll of toilet paper, and you got to go wait in line to get your apple juice, you're not, and your dog your dog's hair is grown out, you're kind of in a bad mood. You have time to spread that bad mood.
Some of those reviews, I'm like, are you sure you even purchased from us? Like, what is going on?
It's I just think it's part of the business. That's just what it is.
I believe it's because I've told you this a million times. I believe it's because you've had, we've always had a lot of orders, but this is
we have had. Okay, so I want to get into that. Our business actually went up during the coronavirus. I wanted to go over this, but first, I want to talk about the stress because I know a lot of people are stressed out. And I want to talk about how we were able to overcome this because this is what me and Jesse do. We see a problem. We don't sink. We don't drink ourselves to death. We figure out the solution. We talk about what we can do to change and pivot. That's like our favorite term.
Pivot!
And we will pivot. We will go the other way and we will turn things around. We always do. So I will say that we did struggle for a few days. I think it was for me, it was the overall overwhelming feeling of, oh my God, what is happening right now? There's no medicine I can't find medicine. I can't find toilet paper. I can't find, soup cans are gone. I'm reading on Quora about, what's happening to people and how heat helps with coronavirus. And all I'm thinking about is my child. And if she gets it, I think the first day, I hunted 4 different stores. In fact, I spent $70 on 4 bottles of Tylenol because I read that ibuprofen actually helps coronavirus. So I found, I was in survival mode. I was like, I am going to find this stuff. I don't care what it's going to take. And that was my focus. And it wasn't on my business so much. So I think that had a lot to do with it. My anxiety with just the whole thing and what to make of all of it. I was stressing out about masks. I was trying to find masks online. I was not in the zone business wise. So I really do believe that did affect us. I do think though also too, I think my clients were worried and, maybe thinking what's going to happen because a lot of my clients are business owners, but they have jobs too. Right. So, nobody was sent home yet from their jobs. Everybody was just kind of like figuring out, what are we going to do here? What's going to be happening here? I remember when the coronavirus scare even first happened, I had ordered masks with Jesse just because I was like, screw this, I'm ordering them. I don't care if we don't use them, we'll just keep them in the garage for when we paint or something. Because I was just like, I would rather be overprepared than underprepared. Well, that stuff didn't even come for like 2 months.
Right.
So then I was dealing with that as well. I was really stressed out, and I really think that affected my business. And I know that the reason why I'm even saying this is because I know that a lot of people also went through the same thing. So, the thing that really helped us was I kind of just, it was like putting on headphones where noise canceling headphones where I just turned off the news. I turned off, I stopped going on Facebook so much, and I focused on what I could do, and what I could control, which was my business. And I just started listing products like crazy.
Right.
We put on a sale, which I want you to talk about because you're the one who actually has been managing that.
Yeah.
So, how do you think, what did you do for the sale? What do you think made the difference from like us not making any money to all of a sudden, for a few days, all of a sudden making 300% over what we were making last year?
Well, I mean, obviously I give the most credit to the Etsy ads, which we've already discussed, but as far as the sale goes, I truly believe that it was just recognizing that these are not normal circumstances and these are not normal times. I mean, normally we've always got like a little bit of a sale going for the website or for the Etsy store, but Erika, you were very adamant about making sure that the prices were not at full price because of the situation that's going on with the coronavirus. And so, after just kind of looking at what we could have, I guess, ultimately afford to lose, even though these are digital products, it's just, it's still a sale and it's still, you're still profiting X amount. We were able to find the appropriate discounts for basically everything in the store that didn't have to do with custom. Because at this point right now, we're kind of like, oh, custom, you can do it, you don't have to, whatever. And
really quickly, I just want to explain too that Jesse is he's a big believer in not being on sale all the time. He'll fight me on going on a sale because he believes that it devalues the business.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's not to like, toot your own horn or whatever, but like I'm saying, like, you are obviously one of the top graphic designers, especially in your industry, and if not the top. And so it's just one of those things, like, I'm not going to mention any names, but I've seen firsthand how you can start hot with a big sale through your whole store and then start to fizzle out. We're seeing that, with some of the competitors right now that have kind of gone a little bit crazy with the sales. And so if you're going to do a store-wide sale, you got to make sure you do it appropriately, and that it's not something that is going to be forever. And so, anyways,
because think about it like this: me and Jesse were on. There's this website called Guilt, and they sell designer stuff, right? And they emailed me saying that they had Louboutins as low as $500, and I freaked out.
Right.
Okay, and I went on Guilt, and me and him are just dying over these shoes that are like only like $300 off at the most, right? But the initial freak out was because, I'm sorry, when have you seen Louboutin go on sale?
Exactly.
Right? So it's because of the value of the red bottoms, and even though you're not really saving that much on, let's say the shoes are $1,200. And they're on sale for $900, you're not really saving that much. But because the value of the Louboutins is so high, the way that the company has marketed their shoes, that's a freak out. I mean, you should have seen how many shoes were sold out. I couldn't get the shoes I wanted because they were just sold out.
Right. And so, like, if Walmart goes on sale,
right,
you're just kind of like, whatever.
Oh, great.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if something that is either not normally on sale or something that is considered the best,
mm-hmm.
Then, it's a very different situation. And so, we see other shops and stuff doing the sales like all the time, and their designs aren't as good, but they'll we'll just make up for it and having these crazy prices, and it's cool. But if you ever do try to let go where you're not having as big of a sale, you'll be crippled. And so for us, we came to a point where we were like, all right, hey, this is an appropriate time to do it because people are struggling out there, and we want to be able to help out. And sure enough, I mean, we were having, this was after like things started picking up. Anyways, we were having we were having a lot of sales during the pandemic, but this was just like icing on the cake. It was like it got got crazy.
It kind of like catapulted us into a different like bracket, really. I mean, normally I'm extremely cautious, just of like, short things like this, like a pandemic, like what, this is so weird, what's going to happen once everybody's back to work and stuff. But you take things like this in life and you use them for your really for your best interest. And that's what we're doing with the pandemic, because at the end of the day, our business is helping other businesses, whether or not they can have their actual storefronts open right now or not. We're making it possible for them to be available online, which is something I didn't really think about when this first started. I didn't think, this is going to be huge for us because businesses are going to be working online. I was thinking, oh my gosh, businesses are going to be shut down. We're really going to be screwed. And It ended up not being the case. So it worked out for us. Obviously, it hasn't worked out for a lot of other businesses that have to be on location. Example would be like if we were photographers. I know photographers who are collecting unemployment right now off of their business because, they're not able to shoot on location or anything. So, it is a really case by case. That's why we're so lucky that we are in graphic design. We work from home. We do not have to go somewhere, or need to be on a location for something. Also, I think something that really helped us was using our time wisely, because this would be a great time to just binge watch Netflix and, cry ourselves to sleep and do nothing, right?
Yeah, I would say that, and I would be lying if, like you said, if like in the beginning it didn't feel like maybe this is a time to just kind of be like everybody else, call your bills and get them extended and just say, forget it, like let's just relax but I think that deep down we kind of knew that this was going to last a while.
Yes.
And that we didn't want to be...
There had to be a new normal.
Right, we didn't want to be in rough shape heading out of this. And I think actually you really took the charge on that. You were like, we're going to make sure our bills are paid on time. Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure we work. If we have to work twice as hard, we have to work twice as hard. And every, not to brag, but it's like every move we made was essentially the correct move.
Weirdly.
Yeah,
it
for
was.
once.
Weirdly. I think it's just kind of the luck of the industry that we're in. I think that had we been in another industry that was hurt by this, we could have easily had serious issues, but we just happened to be the perfect kind of business for this type of pandemic. And that's why graphic design is really perfect for a pandemic. Now, is it recession proof? I don't know yet. I think it would depend on your client base.
That's true.
Although, I believe that marketing does increase during a recession because you have to figure out new ways to market to keep your business alive.
Sure.
So, we'll see. If there is a recession coming up after this, I'll be able to talk to you about recession.
Stay tuned.
Recession proofing your business. But I believe a pandemic, that's a different thing. It's just different. So I want to talk a little bit about being like a stay-at-home like parent and also being like a graphic designer. Okay, so the thing is when you are, and I know it's even harder probably for like the single parents. I cannot relate to being a single parent. That is crazy to me. I don't know how I would do it. So if you are a single parent, I commend you. But so I'm obviously a married mother, and not just a mother, right? Mother of a kindergartner, not a middle schooler where you can just tell them go to your room and get your homework done. So it's kind of this wild thing for us. Our daughter is in private school. That's an even more of a different thing because we're also paying a fee while our daughter is home while we're teaching her, and also she's doing like these Facebook lives and we have to manage that.
Right.
Or not Facebook lives, what is it? Zooms. And it's just been kind of like a crazy thing for us, right? I would say it's almost kind of the rain cloud over everything.
Oh yeah.
Has been the school.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been, in my opinion, it's been the most. It's been the hardest thing to adjust to.
Yeah.
The restaurants, the beaches getting closed. Like that's all. Like, to me, that's all like all first world problems. Actually, having to work and teach your kid at home. That's legit hard. And
like I literally have lost sleep on thinking about like, is my kid even learning right now? And
newsflash, she's not.
Yeah, it's it's tough. It's tough. I think the biggest thing with this is recognizing that you can only do what you can do,
right.
And nobody's prepared for this. We've had meetings with our principal. Our principal said, this is the first time this has even been talked about. So now obviously they're going to have steps in place for if there is a next time, but it's kind of hard because a recession and a depression are the two typical, countrywide things that happen. This is obviously a worldwide thing, but, it's happened before. With this has not happened. So it's kind of like, I even feel for the schools and the teachers. They're doing their best, right? But in the case of being like a kindergartner or a first grader parent, or even with multiple kids, I only have one child. I couldn't imagine having a child in kindergarten and a child in second grade. That'd be just like a whirlwind of craziness. But there are people out there who have that. And I think the only solution, honestly, is just, you try your best. But the first and foremost thing is taking care of your family and making sure those bills are getting paid. Okay? Because, your kids can play catch up next year. Even with kindergarten, there's several kids who are just like, the parents are like, you know what, we're just going to repeat. It's not a crazy situation where, it's not the worst thing in the world. This is something that affected the world, and we need to give ourselves more credit than just saying, like, I can't believe my kid is going to, it's giving yourself more credit than, you are right now. And just doing your best. And yeah, your kid is not going to make it on every live. They're not going to send in every assignment completed, and that's okay, because as long as you're focusing on the number one priority, which is taking care of your family, your health, making sure those bills are getting paid, because if your kid has their classwork done but rent is not paid and you're about to be 2 months behind, that's a concern. That's going to tear you down, right? So in my opinion, work is more important right now than schoolwork.
I think just overall the message should be to just survive this thing.
Survival.
Yeah.
It's survival. And making sure those bills are paid, focusing on your business, your money, that is survival.
Yeah.
Schoolwork is not survival. That can be made up. For all I know, in a month they're going to tell us that they're canceling summer. To catch up. We don't know what they're going to do. So I'm for that. Okay, I'll have my kid go on during summer. I don't care. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we've had enough of her.
And then obviously the guilt of things, like guilt of your kid not having a birthday party. Like my kid's birthday is tomorrow and she's not gonna have a birthday party. We still got like an expensive cake. We still are gonna hang out with my family, even though you're not technically supposed to, but it's just that guilt of, oh my gosh, my kid is not gonna get everything that I want for them. And it's just, you just gotta love yourself and accept that, it's just what it is. It's reality, and focus on what's important right now, which is getting those bills paid so that kid has a roof over their head, right?
Yeah.
And that, I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's so, I kind of have like an out of body experience when I'm talking about the pandemic.
Right.
I'm like, am I really going through this right now? Am I like going to be in history?
I think about that when I'm at the store and I'm looking at every single person, including myself,
in masks.
In a mask.
I think about that when I'm on the freeway and I see the messages on those digital boards that say like, stay home, save lives.
Watch out for zombies. Like, it's the same thing. It's
totally.
Like, yeah.
It's totally like an apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy.
But graphic design saves all of that. Am I right?
Yeah, totally. But yeah, you know, it's just, I think like the moral of all of this, right? Or whatever the lesson is, just like, you got to focus on what's important. And what's important is your family, your livelihood,
Sure.
your health.
Yeah.
Focus on that. Don't focus on the things that can get fixed later on, you know? And that's why I feel so gifted being able to do what I do, because it is something that you can work from home. You can work it as a side hustle. Like if you have a business right now that's working, or not a business, a job that you're working from home and you're working 8 hours, you can literally, after that 8 hours, shut it off, open up your laptop and start on your graphic design business. And that is something that is so amazing. So, you know, if you have it on hold or something, or you feel like, I don't know what's going on with this pandemic, I'm telling you, do it, because you're missing out on money right now. Because there are a lot of people who need marketing right now for different things.
And if you don't know how to graphic design, where could you?
Yeah, we have a university. It's called Boston University, which we are transferring to Her Digital Empire University, but it is still on the website, bostonuniversity.co, because, oh yeah, that's right, there's a pandemic, and I only have so many hours a day, and I have 200 orders coming in.
I was going to say, wait, you're saying you can't do 200 orders and...
I'm so busy, I want to cry. But the money's great, so, I'm that's why I'm finally getting this out, because I have not had time.
If I would say that the next step is to be hiring out somebody to handle at least the messages, because it's getting.
And we will talk about that once we
right.
Once we fail and trial and error 100 times.
If Erika sounds like she's not typing in correct English, we've hired out.
No, my plan is to find somebody, a girl who has the voice I want, and I don't mind paying, but yeah, so, I think when it comes to this coronavirus and everything, if you do have anxiety with all of it, just know, like, you have support. There's so many people. Join groups, even watching other people complain and talk about their situation. And I don't mean it complain in like a negative way. I think venting is a great thing. Some people, it's just more important. I would rather you vent than explode. Because you're not venting and you're not talking about your problems. So it's nice even just reading what other people are going through, because it makes you feel like you're not by yourself. That stuff helps. And like I said, if this is something where you're like, I have a job and I just don't, I don't even know how to get my graphic design thing going. It's as simple as just starting to post in groups and things like that, this is what's available, and you're doing a discount right now because of coronavirus and things like that.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, there is a need right now. There are businesses who really need to get their websites out there, because they had a small storefront and now they have nothing. So they got up a Shopify website really quickly, and they need to be able to sell their products, and you can help them by creating them banners and flyers and things to make them look professional, because they may be professional, but they don't know how to look professional, and that's what we do. So, with that, I will get this closed out. Again, if you have a moment, please subscribe. We are going to get on a regular schedule again now that we are getting kind of a hold of this whole pandemic thing. And yeah, definitely, if you have a moment, write a review for us. That would be amazing. But other than that, I really do hope that you have a really great rest of your day. And I will see you on the next episode.